because there's a little bit about the ships arriving, exactly what triggered this event.
Ready, go. How did it all begin?
Well, in early November, we got word that there were 3 ships, or 4 ships actually, headed to Boston. One of them shipwrecked before it reached Boston altogether. This here is the Eleanor. That's one of the ships that arrived with tea on it. Between the 3 ships that arrived, there were 340 crates of tea. And Boston law states that once a ship has entered Boston Harbor, it has 20 days to unload its cargo and leave the harbor so another ship can come in. So the first ship to arrive was the Dartmouth, and the 2 other ships, the Eleanor and the Beaver, arrived in the weeks following that. And on the 19th day after the Dartmouth arrived, there had been several town meetings about what to do once the tea was brought into the city. On the 19th day after the Dartmouth arrived, there was a massive meeting at Old South Meeting Hall. Nearly 5,000 Bostonians came. They actually began at Faneuil Hall, but Faneuil Hall was too small of a space to house them all. That was actually a bit of a tool that the Sons of Liberty used. They knew that it would be too big of an attendance for Faneuil Hall, and because they had to relocate to Old South, they had a little impromptu parade past the State House, just showing everyone in the local government what was going on. People were spilling from the rafters in Old South. They were lining up outside the windows propped open, people listening to the speeches inside. Almost every man of recognizable age in Boston arrived and went to this meeting in some capacity. So during this meeting, we were hoping at that point still to have our royal governor, Governor Hutchinson, allow the ships to be sent away without unloading the cargo, rather than having it unloaded at the 20th day. Other towns did this as well. In that same shipment of tea, New York and Philadelphia both successfully sent the tea ships away. In Charleston, South Carolina, they seized the tea, took it off the ships, but kept it in a warehouse and didn't give it to the merchants. It actually just rotted away in there after a little while. But in Boston, Governor Hutchinson is a bit of a staunch Tory. He actually really has gone against the people of Massachusetts many times in favor of the Crown. And so he replied at the end of the day. One of the ship's owners, Mr. Roach, arrived back in town, said, "I've appealed to the governor to send the ships away. He will not allow them. He will not allow that to happen. The tea has to be unloaded." And because of that, that was the trigger moment. Mr. Samuel Adams, who was speaking, said there's clearly nothing more a meeting can do to save this country. By some accounts, there was a great war whoop that went up outside the building. People making Indian cries, and then a lot of the men leaving and storming out. From there, a few of them smeared lampblack on their faces, or wrapped woolen blankets around their shoulders to conceal their clothing, stuck feathers into their tricorns here and there as part of their disguise, and then almost 1,000 people all together rushed down to the wharf. And between the 1,000, some stood on the wharf and just watched the action happen. And we have the names of about 170, 175 men who were actually involved with the business on the 3 ships. And then they unloaded the tea into the harbor.
Stop. Okay,